It was, it was the hottest day that we've had. We put them in a bunch of situations. We got a lot of snaps, but guys started getting tired. When you leave in a scrimmage situation, which this is really our first scrimmage situation where we could drive the field, and we noticed a few guys that aren't tough enough physically to be able to maintain focus and be able to do the right things. So it exposed a few people, which that's why you do it, to where you can film it and you can figure out who are the guys that are mentally weak and who are the guys that can push through some adversity to the point where we can continue to function as a team when it's hot and we're tired, and which is a football game, which is adversity.
Well, the conditioning or just the heat?
Yeah, but I mean, it has nothing to do with like what their conditioning was in the summer. It's the difference between being in good shape and being in good football shape. Being in good football shape is totally different than being able to line up and run 10 hundreds and meet your time. It's totally different because you're getting smacked in the mouth and you got to think, and then when things go wrong, people, mentally weak people tend to shut it down a little bit, so.
Are you ready to have a set up a depth chart?
No, not yet. We're getting closer. A few of them, have established themselves as starters, but we still got another week where we'll practice the heck out of them for another week and then make our mind up prior to game, kind of who's going to play.
Coach, you said that there were some people who were handling everything well. Are there any guys who stood out today in terms of the positive production?
Braun had some energy out there, and Stedman Bailey made some really good plays. Najee Good's a guy that you can't, he's as mentally tough as they come out there. Terrence Garvin, is a guy that's been in those wars and been in those battles. It's the guys that have been there and done it. Those are the guys that typically rise up and they're able to handle a situation like this. So this is the closest we've come to what it's going to be like 2 weeks from now. Which that's the way we wanted it. You can't just sit here and put them in this situation all the time. You got to practice, and then do this, and then you go in, you watch it, you make the corrections, and then you try to put him in some more situations a week before the first game.
You mentioned Najee there. Is he still playing in the middle? I had heard that he might be moving around.
Yeah, he's moving around. He's just a smart guy. He can play all three of those spots if we need him to. I think Jeff would like to move him on the outside, but we got to figure out who our best three are, and he's a guy where, based on the other two guys' strengths and weaknesses, we can move him to fit what's best for the team.
Get in the number of plays you wanted to?
Yeah. I think it was about 40 and 40 for the ones, 40 with the twos. We're thin at the O-line and D-line right now, which, those guys, a lot of them are pushing through, but, it's tough to get as many snaps as you want to based on O-line and D-line. You don't want to totally wear them out.
Sorry, go ahead.
What's your philosophy on hitting? You start to taper it this week, next week?
Well, it'd naturally kind of taper off next week because of school. These guys got to be students for, 3 or 4 hours a day, and then they got to come over here and be a football player for about 4 hours. Okay, so, next week, Monday's off. It's our off day. They can go be students and get their schedules set. And then, Tuesday through Friday for those 4 days, we'll have pretty good practice. We'll continue to hit them the next week when you really got it back on.
The sort of mental issues you were talking about, how did they manifest themselves? Was it pre-snap penalties, missed assignments, all the above, I guess?
All the above, and when you're tired, you bust calls, you bust assignments, you forget to communicate, that sort of thing. That's stuff that you got to train guys to be mentally tough. Or if guys aren't really tough, you don't put them out there.
In terms of the scrimmage, was it the offense dominate, defense dominate, back and forth?
We offense did a decent job of moving the ball, and then we just got in the red zone. We couldn't do anything once we were in the red zone, which that's why you practice. That's why we put them in those situations to get better at that. And we'll have to address that offensively. Is just making routine plays and moving down the field is a positive thing. We converted a bunch of third downs, and then we got into the red zone, and we didn't do a very good job we did a good job with our field goal unit. We didn't do a very good job of putting it in the end zone offensively. And then you flip the side defensively. They're in a bunch of third and long situations where they need to get the butt off the field. You know, and they didn't. But the good news is they didn't just break. They kept throwing up the wall and did a good job in the rhythm.
How is that the court doing, Coach?
Good, getting better. I think a lot of that has to do with you know, the blocking scheme up front. You know, we fixed a lot of this stuff, and he's got more confidence in not having to worry about how the blocking is anymore. He's doing a good job of touching.
How's the battle at right tackle going?
Terrible. Yeah, both of them are still got a long ways to go.